Hello, hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Friday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. Welcome. Not too bad, huh? 3 nights in a row, right on time. I gotta admit, I'm kind of impressed myself. I'm not gonna lie. So, I am going to get started, but I thought I would invite a couple people that usually like to join. Oh, Jenny's here. There you go. Jenny, how are you? Welcome. You're gonna like this one too. Jenny, my top fan. How are you? I gotta tell you, I've watched that clip myself a few times today, Jenny. It's gonna be tough for me to top that right now. I'm gonna do a skit tonight. I'm gonna post it tonight, so you'll see. But it's gonna be it, even though that was so simple, like Simon said. But yeah, so it's gonna be. I know. I can't stop watching it. And I find myself. Every time I watch it, I tell myself I'm not gonna watch it to the end. Every time I watch it to the end, I tell myself it's just the beginning. I really want to watch. I'm always gonna go to. So I know I saw that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm gonna do a skit tonight, and I had stopped doing skits, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start doing. I told you I'm gonna up my real game, but I'm gonna do a skit tonight. It's kind of hard to top that. That's got so many hits, but hopefully you guys will like the skit tonight. So it's all about fun and games. I had a very interesting conversation today. And I gotta tell you, and I told them the same thing. So somebody approached me on Instagram, and said, "Hey, listen, I can do. I don't want to give everything away, so that I can do some stuff for you as far as your profile is concerned, so that maybe you can get some more attraction." That's kind of the base. That's where I'll leave it, right? So I said, and I get these guys approach me all the time. If you're one of those people that gets these random messages, drop it too in the comments. Don't share. Oh, that's you can share away. Don't you can share. What they say is that don't copy and paste the same exact wording and share that on your profile, because the algorithms would not go away. But if you share another person's post and actually have a comment, like in which I saw you do, that's gonna completely change everything else. So yeah, I get these all the time, random, and I've blocked all of them. I literally have blocked every single one of them. But this one kid, I liked one thing he said, right? I liked one thing he said, and I'm like, you know what? I really like what he said. And he asked for an appointment, and I said, you know what? Sure, let's do it. Let's hop on the phone. I had to reschedule, so I had to do it today. So I hop on a Zoom with him, and this kid blows my mind, right? This kid is so money. Brian, how are you? Welcome. Are you? I normally don't bring anybody that I haven't arranged on, so we can arrange to get you on tonight. But I feel like you want to be as a like. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Hey, Brian. Glad you're here, man. That your first time to my Zoom. So hopefully I do good. Hopefully I do good. So yeah, I had a conversation with this kid today. So he wants to help with my profile to get more. He said, you know what, I really like your stuff. I see your stuff and I like him, and I kind of want to do this. So I start talking. He sends me a little 5 question kind of thing. He wanted to see what my goals and stuff are, and I said something to him that I don't think I've ever shared before on a live this way. If you guys just know, some of you know, some of you don't, and if you're a first timer, like welcome, welcome. Hopefully, it won't be your last time. um, if if you're a vet to my lives, you know this. If you're new, you're about to find out. I'm huge on stories. I love stories. I love hearing stories and I love telling stories. Now, that doesn't mean I will tell your story if you don't want me to. Okay, so that's a whole different ballgame. So if you tell me something and tell me don't tell anybody, and I'm actually known for this, truthfully, I don't leak. That's what I call it. I don't care what situation. If I'm not supposed to say it, I don't. It just doesn't leak. So, I'm big on stories, and I'm huge on like hearing them and listening to them. I love movies that are based on stories, and the next thing is I love true stories. Like that makes it just boom. Like I love true stories, right? And my thing has always been like I said, if you've heard this before in my lives, great. If this may be your first time, stories are meant to be shared, not stored. Stories are meant to be shared, not stored. They're supposed to inspire. If you went through a hell of a battle, I know Brian has, right? If you've gone through hell, right? That's a story. That's a story. But it's not about going through hell, right? And it's not about you telling about you going through hell. It's not about that part of the story. See, like I said, stories are meant to be shared, not stored, because I personally believe you go through all these little things. I've talked about scars before. I have over 220 stitches in my body, right? I just got a notification for here are the winning numbers for $1.3 billion California lottery. Whew, somebody won, you know. I digress. But I'm big on scars and no hiding of scars because part of the story and part of the journey, if you would, right? But it's not all about just like, and it's not even, it's not about the, well, the way you tell the story is important, right? But here's the biggest part where it's gonna make everybody just tune in. If you put yourself in the audience for a second, right? And you're sitting in the audience and you want to hear somebody tell a story, like you're hearing me tell almost a story, and you're like, get up, right? That's good storytelling. Now, here's the big part of this whole equation. You can tell a story, you can be great at telling the story, you could put, you could have what's called the level changes in your tone of voice, in your volume. You see I go back and forth, my voice changes, you can have all that, but that doesn't make it. Here's the big thing, you ready? Remember you went through hell? It's the how you got out of hell that everybody wants to hear. Everybody has gone through hell. Some people are going through hell right now. Nobody cares about that. Nobody even cares for you to turn around and say, you know what, I went through hell. But like, whoop-de-doo, so did I. Like, okay, what's the big deal? Nobody cares about that stuff, right? It's like, there was this time and I went through this and it's like, okay, it's the how you got out of it, right? I mean, like Rocky, you guys know I'm a huge Rocky fan. If Rocky, you saw Rocky struggling and then you saw Rocky winning and there was no episodes in between, it wouldn't make the movie as exciting. It'd be like, All right, so he just like won the championship. It's the how you won it, right? To money. It's how you tell that part of the story. It's how you tell you got out of it. If you used to use drugs, and if you were an alcoholic, if you were a pop pillar, is that what they call them? And you're no longer. That's great, but the bridge in between is kind of everybody's like waiting for that. How did you get out of that, right? So part of your journey, part of your purpose, if you would remember, we talked about pitching last night. Purpose, you're the seller, it's your own product, and you're the buyer. Hey Tana John, how are you? Welcome, welcome. So to piggyback on that, right? Now you're here. Part of that purpose is all this crap that you've gone through. Stories are meant to be shared, not stored. Why do you get excited about reading a book? Why do you get excited about watching a movie? Why? Because the story is exciting. The how is exciting, right? So the process, and then you guys know I have a shirt that says, marry the process, divorce the results, right? So it's the how, it's the process, right? So I did a live a while back on this. Don't be cheap in conversation, meaning that don't leave the whole juice, the flavor out of your conversation. You see some people when they're telling a story, they drag it, they throw a little bit more. Why? Because they're building that anticipation for you, building that how, so that there's that wow factor. The thicker your story, some of you have gone through hell and back. I know some of your personal stories. Like I literally know some of your personal stories. Hi Niru, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for the stars. And so some of you have gone through hell and back, and you're just sitting on that story. Like nobody's gonna know about that story. I mean, that's kind of the whole flavor of this whole life. People telling each other stories. Imagine if nobody told anybody any stories. What a boring world it would be. I mean, the good Lord, the message was stories. He didn't sit there and say, you know what, 2 + 2 = 4. He told a story. So, listen, I personally want to hear your story. And I'm sure a couple other people want to hear your story. So, get good at telling the how, right? And that's something that I constantly work on, because I really want to build that skill. I want to be a great, not just an average good. I want to be a really great storyteller, because that's really where the impact really comes, right? When you capture, listen, I'm on an iPhone right now, and you are where you are, thousands, maybe countries away from me. But if I've captured your attention with my story, then I've done well. And that's all it is, right? It's getting good at telling it's not like you're lying, it's your story. I didn't add or subtract anything out of it. I just got good at telling the how, the way that it would resonate with you. When I say, hey, am I the only one who's gone through this? You've heard me say this all the time. That's the thing I plug, right? Am I the only one that goes through this? Immediately, you're gonna think of what? No, I'm too. That's immediate. Why? Because I I'm telling the how story because I know you relate to that. I just got to get it out of you, right? So when I say drop it, am I the only one? If I'm the only, if I'm not the only one, drop it too in the comments. And you see people drop into, right? It's get good. You don't need to lie about your story. You don't need to subtract, add. It's your story. Own it, and get good at telling it, sharing it. Brian, if he's still on our call, on the Zoom, on my live, a couple weeks ago, he was on our Saturday call. Dude, there were hundreds of people bawling, crying. That's good storytelling. That's good storytelling. That's touching somebody's heart. You know what I mean? I'll drop it with this and I'll bounce because I gotta work on my skit for you tonight. Oh, there he is. He's here. Yeah. I mean, dude, I know. I mean, you know. So yeah, dude, that's a crazy story. So now I forgot what I was gonna say, Brian. Thank you. No. Get good at telling the how story, and here's the thing. It's your story. This is what I was gonna say. Your story. Own it. You don't need to add or subtract. You don't need to impress anybody with that story because the story is not supposed to impress you. People don't sit there and watch a movie and say, "Oh my God, wow." It's not like you just flew to like Mars and came back. It's like you knew that was the end of the story. You knew there was gonna be a happy ending. It's just the how. The way it took you there, right? So I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you share more of your stories. Some of you I really appreciate. Let me share with you. Some of you watch the replay. A lot of you are not live with me, but I'm going earlier, and I'm letting you guys know at least a half an hour. So more people are joining, but some of you over the years, and you know who you are. I've heard some stories. You've sent me text messages. You've literally sent me chats and called, and we've talked. And there's some stories out there. And there's some good ones out there. And if you're sitting on your story, man, I really wish you wouldn't. And I tell you this, I'm probably not the only one that wishes that. Just saying, whoever needs to hear this will hear it. At the time, they need to hear it. That's all it is. You just create it. That's all it is. So hopefully I didn't buzzkill your Friday night. Let's go. Get ready for my skit. Who's ready for my skit tonight? Is anybody ready for, I think I'm full of surprises myself. I don't even know what I'm going to do tonight, but yeah, that's funny, Jen. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Drop your thoughts, your comments, your feedback below. I'll get back to you guys, of course, tonight. And if you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you got to do. Spread the love, tag a couple people, Hey, you got people who got stories and they're sitting on them. Tag them, share it, do what you gotta do, spread the love. Jenny, thank you again for the stars. Anybody who joined me live the first time, Brian, everybody, thank you. Hopefully it won't be your last time. And until tomorrow, when we do it all over